Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon or good morning. How y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of Shingeki no Kyojin, or you could call it Attack on Titan, which is on chapter 88. Now, I will say this: the translations did come out a little bit earlier than I expected, or something. But at the same time, I literally had to reread this chapter and possibly jot down some notes maybe 2 to 3 times at most, or possibly 2 times, because apparently this thing had a whole bunch of information of what's been going on, along with its big important history here and there, So if anything else, let's just get this started. If this video is very long, I apologize, but you don't have to bear with me for a long time, etc. if you don't want to, So if anything else, let's just get this started. Okay, we have to it that this guy, who apparently turned into a Titan and showed Grisha how to become a Titan, destroyed all the guards, squeezed them as if they were discarded fruit, etc., and thrown into the ocean as well. And after all that's been happening right now, we have to it that everything else seems to be back on track. Not exactly, but we have to it that this guy who saved Grisha, his name is known to be Eren Kruger, which is apparently funny because Eren Yeager has that name Eren, but with a different last name, etc. Remember, keep that in mind. Not to mention where he asked Grisha, do you want to ask me anything? And Grisha's like, I don't even know where to start. But he goes like, well, you better hurry up because I don't have a lot of time left, which is explained later in the chapter below. And therefore, he announces himself that he is Eren Kruger, like I said. And he says something about power of one of the 9 titans within him. And this is an important factor to put into your brain or to dig in right now, because this is where where its most ugliest parts is starting to show. Not to mention, he mentions that he's the subjects of Ymir, and Grisha's like, if you are a subject to Ymir, how in the hell did you manage to bypass a lot of security and infiltrate the authorities? He therefore said, and Eren Kruger therefore says, I managed to have a doctor to fool everything and falsify the evidence so I could become a Marleyan or something, that kind of thing. And he compliments Grisha for trying to lead the restoration of the Elodians or something, and had a child with Dina Fritz, etc., yada yada yada. But everything turns to all trash in the end, and there's no denying that. And therefore, Grisha was not really happy on how things are, and he even asked, why the hell am I the last human here standing, and so forth, And if you knew something about these books and so forth, why the heck did you why the heck didn't you do anything right now? All you did is cutting off fingers of Ymir and turning them to titans and so forth. And Eren therefore explains to him he did all this for the sake of Eldia, that kind of thing. After Grisha was lashing out at him, why didn't you do a damn thing earlier than you should have done, huh? None of this would have happened. But eventually, as Eren says, and I'm repeating myself again, he told Grisha that this is all to serve Eldia or something, And he therefore tells him that he is short on time right now. He's going to entrust his final mission to Grisha. And therefore, he entrusts his final mission to Grisha and no one else. And he therefore recalls back his days with Grisha, how he met him, etc. About how his sister was killed, how he didn't stop him, and hating Marley, and Grisha asked him, is that the reason why you picked me? It was because I hated Marley, or that empire or something. But he says that's only part of it, As you can see, I see nothing but hatred in your eyes, and it seemed to produce the entire world into ash right now. And therefore, he explains to Grisha that he was like that too. Back then he was forced to see royal families burned alive or something by a revolutionary army, and his father was part of that. And he couldn't do anything but watch from the crack of the closet as it happened. And the way how his face was looking it looks exactly just like Eren's face right there, when he was a kid. surprisingly, like it's a little bit different because it was at a different age and era possibly. And therefore, he even explains that he was saved by his father's friends before his home was burned down and so forth, And therefore, that's when he went on a path of revenge, get revenge on Marley and restore Eldia. That kind of path of revenge. Like someone takes something that you value for a long time, you just want to strike back at them like 3 times or 10 times as hard and making them suffer. Eventually, he was forced to do these things like kicking people off the walls, turning them into titans, cutting off their fingers. I don't even want to think about that right now. Or imagine the freaking thing about having no fingers at all. Anyways, continuing on. He did all that to preserve his identity or save himself. In other words, like, keep himself undercover and not revealed until the day has happened to him and so forth. And therefore, Grisha asked him the most important question. What is the final mission you are trying to entrust to me? And therefore, he says, I want you to enter the walls and take back the founding Titan, using the power of the Titan that you will inherit from me. And therefore, Grisha's like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? So what this means is, and Eren therefore explains to Grisha, like, you'll become a Titan and you will eat me, And therefore, it's impossible to reach the wall without the Titan's power and so forth, as Eren explains it. But apparently, Grisha asked him, why didn't you do it? And therefore, Eren's like, I haven't told you everything I know, but my goal was to raise the morale of the restorationists, And I would tell you this right now, whoever inherits the power of the 9 Titans, apparently, you will die in 13 years. And he inherited that power 13 years ago. And if you had known that, you would never have hesitated to make Zeke or Dina inherit the founding Titan's powers in the first place. So this is a major piece of information right here, because this is related to not only Grisha, but to the royal Reese family, along with the other Titan powers, Apparently, out of the many Titan powers we've seen like Eren's power, and then we go to Reiner, and then we go to Bertolt, And then we see that in Annie. And then after that, it is like Ymir, Those are the 5 people that have, and Beast Titan Zeke, Those are the 6 people that have the Titan shifting powers. And my only question is, are those Titan shifting powers part of the 9 Titan powers, Because if they are, they only have 13 years left to live. And this is where Armin confirms it, where this is the curse of Ymir. So we also get information from Eren Yeager, which is back in the present time right now, about like they died 13 years after awakening their powers, and no one has that kind of power greater than hers. And eventually, when your time is up in 13 years, your body begins to weaken, your vessel finishes serving its purposes. Another thing too is like with all this memory batched into Eren, he explained this. Gives it all to like Armin why the Reese family had to make a succession every 13 years and so forth, And that seems to confirm it. And we have to it that Armin realizes that he will die in 13 years. And that goes with Eren too, as he has only 8 years left to live, or even less. So I go like, God dang, dude. So this is no joke at all, So whoever inherits one of the 9 Titan powers, which one of them is revealed that belongs to Eren Kruger. Now it's inherited to Grisha Yeager and then passed on to Eren Yeager, And then the other possible Titan powers has to be the Armor Titan, and then the Titan power that Armin now has as he consumed Bertolt. So that's 3 right there. Not to mention the Titan power from Annie, that's 4. And another Titan power from Ymir, that's 5. And then the Beast Titan, which has to be Zeke, that has to be one of the 9 Titan powers, that's 7. Or 6. Sorry, what the freaking heck? Sorry, I can't count. My brain's really tired and fried today, Despite all that, we have to it that after like explaining that Armin and Eren does not have long to live, Mikasa is distraught as she does not want to think about it. She said, this is all wrong. I don't want to believe it. And it seems like to me, as Eren says it, if someone holds the power of one of the 9 Titans dies without anyone inheriting that power, we have to it that the power of that Titan is suddenly inherited by a baby belonging to the subjects of Ymir. So if there is no one like eating that person with that 9 of the Titan powers, that thing is to be transferred somehow magically or randomly, I don't know, to the subjects of Ymir or something, you know? And this distance plays no factor in this at all, neither do blood relations. But eventually, as Eren continues to talk about it, he says that the subjects of Ymir are connected by something invisible that they call past as by one's successor. And these pasts are invisible to the eyes as it goes from the blood and bones that form the Titan sent them through the past, you know? At times, memories and some outside will come to them through as past as well. And all that past is connected as a signal coordinate. And that coordinate power is something inherited by Eren, you know? So this is a certain relation. In other words, that is the founding Titan. And that's the signal coordinate, surprisingly. And as going back into the backstory, like going back in time, and Eren Kruger explains like how all the subjects of Ymir are connected to that coordinate known as past transcend physical space. This was the most given opinion by the Marley governments and the Titan Chemistry Research Society. And Grisha asks, does magic exist all this time? So if our ancestor Ymir was a witch all along, what is it, you know? And we have to it that there was 2 things. One, she was under Marley rule, nothing but a pawn of the devil. And then 2, the Alien Empire, when it came to the Alien Empire's rule, she was a God-given miracle. I just go like, okay, what? And then when it comes to these historical documents that Grisha asked, like, was this nothing more to fuel our morale? Or what's the truth about our real history? As Grisha asked, he says, our ancestor Ymir was a girl who came in contact with the source of all organic material. There are some who say that too in a certain sense. And he therefore explains to Grisha like, there is no such thing as truth in this world. That is our reality. Anyone can become a god or a devil. It all it takes for someone to claim that to be the truth. So 17 years of ethnic cleansing, if that was the case, there would not be a strand of Marlin hair left on this damn planet. And our ancestors Ymir were brought nothing but wealth with the power of the Titans. That doesn't sound like any human I've ever heard of. And when Grisha asked him a question, Dina was part of the royal bloodline too. Was that another one of your truths? And that's why you abandoned her? He said, yeah, unfortunately. The fact that she was royal blood and probably the one thing for the Revolution Army didn't take from them. He even asked him why. Because she's royal blood. What else, you know? I cannot allow her to fall into enemies' hands, and I'm pretty sure Zeke would tell Marley everything. It's only a matter of time before they say what he's saying is like nothing more than BS, you know? Nothing more than child's like running mouth or something. And therefore he even says like ask Grisha. So even so, like you say, like you think it'll be a good idea for her to be forced to spend the rest of her life bearing children for the enemy nation until she died that day? And he prefers that she turns into a man-eating monster than being part of the enemy state and bearing a lot of children and so forth. Although, like, many things to one and all out to one, it's understandable why he let Dina become a man-eating titan and possibly abandon her or not say anything at all. And he sees, after seeing those last moments, he made the right choice possibly. But because he was not strong enough to save his brothers and sisters, there's only one person that could reach the wall from here, and that's the part with the Titans within them. And therefore, Eren explains to Grisha that you have to do my job for me now. And Grisha does not want to do this anymore as he feels unmotivated, or after everything that's been happening to him, the loss of his wife, all the organization, turned to Titans, kicked off the walls, eaten alive, yada yada yada. He's not really happy about that. Even the guy who fed his sister to the dogs, eaten alive by a Titan, he was nothing more than a scared cat, you know? He wasn't happy about that. He was just frightened. And he even says that he has not even changed at all, having the pain of my fingers cutting off, losing my wife and son, my brothers and sisters. If I knew the price of our paying the street, I would never have paid it. And therefore he says, I'm sorry, I can't really do this mission right now. And therefore Eren brings up a thing about like Grisha's father, how he's so smart, and even though his daughter was killed, he would not want to lose any more of his family. But you see here, he didn't want you to go off a wrong path. But instead of that, you didn't learn a damn thing from him, and he shipped his own wife and son all the way to hell. And therefore, Grisha's like, so what the hell are you trying to say to me right now? Eren tells him to stand and fight. And right now, he even tells Grisha, like, I'm really short on time. And 13 years is already up, and I'm about to die soon. And there's a lot of information that I haven't even told you yet. And therefore, Grisha's like, you're supposed to be leading that to me, okay? But Eren therefore says, you have to make a vow first. That you will fight and restore Eldia's freedom and dignity. Put your life on the line, and if you fight, then stand. And therefore, Grisha says, no, I can't do this. And he shows him a picture, a photo to Grisha, like, here, look at this. And therefore Grisha says he can't look because that's the photo of his family, his wife, and his son Zeke. He says, no, you are going to look. You will stand. No will to stand, no will to fight, and so forth. What the hell's wrong with you, huh? You got no will to look, no will to stand, no will to fight. What happened to your balls? Did he get, like, castrated by Marley? Now, I understand, like, things like that, but that's a cruel, dark thing to ask or something, you know? Castrated, man, I think I would have, like, lost myself if something like that happened to me. Well, aside from all that, let's forget about that. But we have to it that he doesn't have any hatred right now. All he has left is his sins, as Grisha replied to him. He says, that's enough. The main reason you chose wasn't because you hated Marley or anything else. So it's because you went past the wall that day. If you have not even gotten the wall out with your sister and so forth, yada, yada, yada. None of this would have happened, you know? Your sister would have been married. You would have inherited your father's clinics. You would never met Dina, made a child, made Zeke. And she probably would have been a mother and so forth. So the reason why he chose Grisha is because you went past the wall that day. And once you went past that wall and so forth, everything's starting to change. We all wanted freedom, and our brothers and sisters had to pay that kind of price for that. And the moment that thing had to come, we all had to repay them with that certain action right now. As we die, even after we die, you gotta keep going, you know? You began the story a long time ago by going past that wall, so now you gotta finish it. And therefore, Grisha got his will to fight again, and therefore he decides to tell him about each of the 9 titans has a name, apparently. And those names has to be the ones that might have been mentioned a long time ago, you know? And the power that Grisha is gonna inherit from Eren Kruger himself is known to be this kind of description. No matter what the age is, this Titan has always moved ahead, seeking freedom and fought for freedom, and therefore its name is the Attack Titan, surprisingly, and so forth. So this chapter gave out a lot of important information in the end, you know? Right there is where we find out the name of Eren Kruger, and then how everything started right there. Not to mention, one of the 9 Titan powers is like, if you inherit that power, you will only have 13 years to live, and that is the curse of Ymir. So I'm guessing, like, in exchange of great power, you have to offer something else in return. That is something that we saw in a lot of manga and anime these days, and there's no denying that. And why he picked Grisha is because, like, he went past the wall that day and so forth, and everything becomes that. Not only that, if you don't have anyone to inherit that power is to be passed on to someone of a random subject of Ymir or something, which is pretty funny. I don't know. But one thing for sure is, like, these 9 Titan powers is something like, Eren already has that, Armin has that after eating Bertolt. I'm pretty sure Reiner has to be one of the Titan powers. Annie Leonhardt has to be that Titan power. along with Ymir being that Titan power, and then like Zeke as the Beast Titan has to have that power possibly. I don't know, but one thing for sure, all these 9 Titan powers has to have a relation with like the 6 Titan shifters, you know, and pretty much like I said, like Eren has one, Armin has one, Reiner possibly has one. No, he has to have one because that has to be a certain Titan power, and then freaking like Annie Leonhardt has one, and then Ymir has one, and Zeke has one, you know? So, all of this is really important information in the end, because, you know, those 6 Titan shifters only don't have a lot to live. Those who inherit, like, the 9 Titan powers, which I believe Reiner, Annie Leonhardt, and then Ymir and Zeke is part of them, you know? That's already, like, that's actually, like, adding another 4 to the 9 Titan powers, you know? And we have 2 of the Eren and Armin has the powers of that Titan, you know, and they don't have much to live. As Armin has 13 years to live, Eren has 8 years or less, and that is a lot. So going off from there about only living for 13 years, of course, if you don't have anyone to inherit that power in that amount of time when your time's up, that will be inherited by a baby belonging to the subjects of Ymir. So I don't know how that works, but it doesn't involve like distance or blood relations. It's just that. But what also shows up in this chapter is also the paths, you know, paths about like that leads up to this coordinate, you know. All these paths lead up to a single coordinate that is the founding Titan, etc. So, yeah. Talk about, like, something happening here and there. Something about real history, source of our organic material. And the final mission, of course, is to go into the walls and find the founding Titan, which is something that must have a big relation or something. And the power that Eren has is known as the Attack Titan. So, it's like Attack on Titan, but without the on. So, it's called Attack Titan. Yada, yada, yada. And so forth. So, yeah. Very big information here and there. Like I said, I've been repeating myself. I don't know what to really think about right now, but all this inheritance and powers and so forth, yeah. I know this video is very long, no doubt about that. But hell, a lot of crazy information here and there. And my throat is really almost out of its vocal cords. And I gotta take a stop here, alright? So I'll see you guys in my next video. So go read the chapter yourself and figure things out, you know? It'll be great if we have a comment discussion or something, but right now, like, with all this information here and there happening from Eren Kruger inheriting the Titan powers and one of the 9 Titan powers, the founding Titan living only for 13 years, damn, a lot of things happening. So if anything else, I'll see you guys in my next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye-bye. Do-do-do.